10 minutes and touch the metal with my hand, then I could wear the metal for an hour. I don't know why Mary Beth says I took the metal. I didn't.
She didn't say you took the metal. She said you grabbed at it, and then Claude ran away down the beach. Rhoda, did you have the metal even then?
No, not then.
Rhoda, how did you get the metal?
I got it later on.
How?
Well, Claude went back on his promise, and I followed him up to the beach. And then he stopped and said I could wear the metal all day if I gave him 50 cents.
Is that the truth?
Yes, Mother, I gave him 50 cents and he let me wear the metal.
Well, then why didn't you tell all this to Miss Fern when she questioned you?
Mommy, Miss Fern hates me. I was afraid she'd think bad things about me if she knew I had the metal.
Rhoda, you knew how much Mrs. Gale wanted that metal, didn't you?
Yes, Mother, I guess I did, but it was silly for her to want to bury the metal pinned on Claude's coat. Claude was dead. You wouldn't know whether he had the metal pinned on him or not. I've got the sweetest mother in the whole world. I tell everyone that. If she wanted little boys so badly, why didn't she just take one out of the orphan's home?
Rhoda, get away from me. Don't even talk to me. We have nothing to say to each other. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Is that for the incinerator?
Yes.
What is it?
Some things she told me to throw away.
Let me see what's in the package, Rhoda.
No.
Let me see it.
No!
You hit him with the shoes, didn't you? Tell me the truth, Rhoda. You hit him with the shoes, and that's how those half-moon marks got on his forehead and hands. Answer me, Rhoda. Answer me.
I hit him with the shoes. I had to hit him with the shoes. What else could I do? It was his fault. And if he hadn't given me the medal like I told him to, I would have had to hit him with the shoes.
Rhoda, tell me what happened. Start from the beginning and tell me the truth. I know you killed him, so there's no sense in lying again. I want you to tell me the truth.
He wouldn't give me the medal like I told him to, that's all. So he tried to run away from me and hid on the wharf. But I found him there and told him I'd hit him with my shoe if he didn't give me the medal. He shook his head and said no. So I hit him the first time, and then he took off the medal and gave it to me.
And then what happened?
Well, he tried to run away again, so I hit him again. He started crying and making a noise, and I was afraid somebody would hear him, so I kept hitting him. I kept hitting him, Mother. I hit him harder this time, and he fell in the water.
Rhoda, how did the bruises get on the back of his hands?
He tried to pull himself back up on the wharf after he fell in the water. But I wouldn't hit him anymore, only he kept saying he was going to tell on me. Oh, Mommy. I say you won't let them hurt me.
I promise, no one's going to hurt you. I don't know what we're going to do, but I promise no one will hurt you. Oh, God. She killed him, but she's my little girl. Rhoda. You have some new vitamins to take.
New ones?
Mm-hmm.
Are those the vitamins?
Yes,
May I see them, please?
of course. There were some that Monica sent for us.
Okay, Mommy. I think Monica likes me.
I'm sure she does.
Swallowing pills is just a trick.
You're very good at it.
Do you love me, Mommy?
Of course I do.
Do you know about Leroy? Mommy, he had my shoes, and he said he was going to give them to the police, and they put me in the electric chair, so I had
You
to
don't have to say any more.
Will you tell me a story now?
Yes, but first you have to take some of these.
So many?
They're a new kind. I'm going to take some too.
I like apricot juice. It doesn't even need ice. Mommy, I took another box of matches and lit the excelsior and locked the door. It wasn't my fault, Mommy. It was Leroy's fault. He shouldn't have said he was going to tell the police about me and give them my shoes.
I know.
There. That's all. Please say you won't let them hurt me, Mommy.
I won't let them hurt you. Good night.
Good night, Mommy. Will you tell me a story now?
When Polly was all dressed and ready to leave, she crept very quietly out of the room and out the door. The door creaked, and she waited and listened, but nobody woke up. Rhoda, I loved you, and I couldn't let them take you away. They would have put you in some kind of institution. And no one would have saved you from that unless I saved you. So sleep well and dream well. My only child and the one I love. I shall sleep too.
Nighty-night, Mommy.
But have you ever tried explaining it to a child? The Dance of the Chicken Feet by Bailey White. When I was a little girl in first grade, our teacher used to make us play the imagination game. She would tell us to close our eyes. Then she would begin to describe something. A walk in the woods, a visit to a foreign country. What do you see? My classmates would call out, trees, flowers, the Great Wall. Then the teacher would let us open our eyes. This is the wonderful power of imagination. With your imagination, you can do many things. Then she would tell us to close our eyes, and we would play the imagination game. The only problem was, I never saw anything, just black darkness. Sometimes I would peek at my classmates. There they would be, sitting on the rug with their grubby little fingers pressed against their squint-shut eyes. I thought of the wonderful things they must be seeing. A swarm of tiny Chinese men, all dressed in dusty black smocks and border slippers that turn up the tips. A crocodile poking its eyes up through dusty stems. A little gap-toothed man with tiny red eyes peeking out from under a three-cornered hat and then disappearing into a deep hole in the ground. Why couldn't I see these things? I closed my eyes again. Blackness. One day I confided in my teacher. You know when we play the imagination game? Well, I don't see anything. You don't see anything? Just the dark. She called my mother in for a conference. Your child doesn't seem to have an imagination. Of course she will learn to compensate in other ways, but I'm afraid this could be a terrible handicap to her later on in life. My mother didn't seem too worried, but I was worried. I wanted to travel to faraway lands, see things no one else has ever seen, and soar above the clouds like my classmates. I practiced at home. I would sit in my room and play the imagination game. I would tell myself stories. Then I would squeeze my eyes tight shut. Nothing. Finally, there came a day when I did see something. Behind one eyelid, I spotted a thin, squirming squiggle. When I rolled my eyes up, it would drift down. When I looked down, it scrolled up. This is it, I thought. The germ of imagination. If I can just concentrate hard enough, I can make it blossom into an Angus bull in a field of clover or a girl in a red dress picking a white flower from a cactus. But then I looked up too far and the squiggle disappeared behind my cheek. After a while, I gave up. When they played the imagination game, I would just sit quietly with my eyes closed. Sometimes, just for the heck of it, I would call out something. An eagle catching a fish. I see a boy milking a brown cow. The teacher would say, very good, and I would squirm with guilt. Then one day, she told us a story about a mermaid. The mermaid was very beautiful, and sailors fell in love with her at first sight. I was sitting on the rug with my classmates, eyes closed. I had actually come to enjoy my peaceful, sleepy darkness. And then, with no warning, an image appeared. It drifted into my sight, focused itself, and glowed in the dark. It was a pair of giant chicken feet. They stood there for a minute, toes turned slightly in. Then they were gone. When we played the imagination game again, the chicken feet appeared. This time, they moved. They did a little dance. One foot lifted up, toes dangling limply. Then that foot set itself down, and the other foot set itself down. And then the foot lifted back up. From then on, whenever we played the imagination game, I would sit happily in my place and watch the dancing chicken feet. Years passed. I grew up and became a first grade teacher myself. I almost forgot about the imagination game and the giant chicken feet. Then, last week, an important children's book author visited our school. My students were very excited. At 8:30, everyone assembled into the auditorium for her presentation. She drew pictures on an easel, she showed us her newest books, and she even explained woodblock printing. I was impressed. My students were spellbound. At the end of the demonstration, she folded her hands, leaned down for the children, and beamed at them. Now, I want you to play a little game. Do you like to play games? Oh, no, I thought. Yes, cried the children. It's called the imagination game. Now close your eyes. She told them a story about a camping trip. What do you see? Eyes switched tighter shut, little grubby fingers pressed harder. Finally, someone said, a tent. A tent, great. What else? A pond, a campfire. This is the wonderful power of imagination. It is your most important possession. You must never lose it. Then she said goodbye, and we went back to our classrooms. I gathered my children together on the rug. I got everyone's attention. Don't worry if you really didn't see anything. If you just saw the darkness, it doesn't mean you will have a hard, sad life. Most of the children didn't seem to know or care what I was talking about, but I imagined that a few of them looked relieved. I felt like I had done the right thing. After school that afternoon, one of my students came up to me. She seemed a little nervous. You know when we play the imagination game? Well, I did see something. You saw something? What did you see? Chicken feet. Giant dancing chicken feet.
The greatest gift you can receive in a lifetime is the gift of love. This is the story of a love between two people. A love that made their lives worth living, and a love that was truly never-ending. A Rosebud by Susan Thompson. Rachel Norris stood at a worn place in the carpet. In her mind, she repaired the lines of the frayed threads and won them skillfully so that the carpet was full again. Rachel raised her eyes and stared at the banks of flowers. She wondered when she had seen so many different blossoms together in one place. Only at funerals, she decided. It was several moments before she remembered where she was. Why, I'm at a funeral, she thought. She almost giggled. She remembered she wasn't. I'll go home and tell Brent. Then we can both laugh. The thought of the pleasure they would share made her smile, until she remembered that it was not proper to smile at funerals either. The minister spoke in lofty, ethereal terms of heaven and angels. Rachel wondered if it was really like that. Somehow the thought of spending eternity sitting on a cloud, plucking a harp, really didn't appeal to her. She never really thought about it much, though. She wouldn't have considered it at all, except for the fact that Brent said that whole bit about angels and pearly gates was all a bunch of baloney. She almost smiled when she thought about that, but she remembered just in time. The minister had finished speaking, and the soloist began to sing. The funeral director moved to the casket and opened the lid. The people in the back of the room stood up and began to file slowly towards the front. Most of them paused a few minutes beside the open casket before they moved on. The last to leave the room was Rachel, her parents, and her mother-in-law. Rachel moved to the casket and stared at the face of its occupant.